Hello everyone, I'm Lori Torrini with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary. Welcome to Lesson 4. Troubleshooting Target Training Part 4 is going to go over what to do when your snake is out. You go get everything ready to train them and you come back and now your snake's gone. It's no longer out. Behaviors that may require troubleshooting include all of these things on this chart and potentially some more. I've done 3 lessons so far. Lesson 1 was what to do when your snake is hiding. Lesson 2 was what to do if your snake just doesn't see the target. Lesson 3 was what to do if your snake is ignoring the target. And this is lesson 4. The snake was visible, but then it retreats or hides. So your snake was out. It was active. It was moving around. It saw you and you thought this is a great time to start a training session. And you go to get everything ready for your training session. And when you come back, the snake is gone. The snake has decided that it's going to hide, it's going to rest, it's going to go to sleep, it's going to do whatever. And now it's not active, alert, and out. So what do you do then? Well, first of all, let's think of why that might have occurred in the first place. It may have been just poor timing on your part, or just a coincidence that the snake was about to go to bed or about to hide anyway, or rest anyway, or do some other activity anyway, when you first noticed it out and moving around, and by the time you came back, it had gone to bed, basically. It had put himself away to be safe and secure and rest. Or it may be that the snake is inherently shy or fearful, and that it just retreats when you're there. It retreated because you turned on the light and you were moving around outside the enclosure, and it decided it would rather just not have you interact with it, and it hid. Or if you've previously been practicing targeting your snake out of hiding, it may actually come to believe that that is part of the behavior required to earn the reinforcement. So it may actually think that it has to start the training session from inside the hide, target out of the hide, and then interact with the target to earn the reinforcement. So what do you do if it's just poor timing? If it's just a coincidence that the snake was going to rest, hide, or sleep anyway, and you didn't realize that when you began to prepare for the session, you can just abort the session. Wait until next time the snake is active and try to catch them when they're out and engaging with their environment a little bit sooner than you did this time. So in other words, just catch them before they go to bed. Catch them before they decide they've had enough activity and they're going to go rest now. You can also use the troubleshooting methods we went over from episode 1, which was what to do if your snake is hiding, or episode 2, which is what to do if your snake doesn't see the target. And you can see if those strategies work to get the snake to come out and engage, even though it was out earlier and now it's decided to put himself away. So in other words, in this case, the timing was poor. You know the snake's likely probably still awake unless it took you a super long time to get everything ready for the training session. So they've probably just gone to bed and they're still kind of awake. So you can try to draw attention to the fact that you're going to start a target training session and they have an opportunity to engage and earn reinforcement. So you can present the target, see if they'll come out and engage with you. But if it's not happening, then I would just put everything away and wait until another time. So what if the snake is shy or fearful? Well, you should have already worked through that by watching the target training for shy snakes video. So if your snake is just inherently shy or fearful, you need to start from the beginning with the steps in the video for target training shy snakes. The link is here. It's in the target training step-by-step playlist, and this is what the thumbnail looks like. You could also go through the steps for choice-based handling, gradual desensitization, and or passive habituation before you even start the target training process, or in conjunction with the target training process. And usually that's going to be by placing the food or the reinforcement on or near the target while you move away. So I have videos and mini classes, short courses on all of these topics. So if your snake was out and active and now they're not because they're shy or fearful, you really need to be going through all of these other little courses first before you are actually doing full-on target training. All right, so the third thing is, what do you do if the snake thinks hiding is part of the behavior? This can happen. I've had this happen with our Escalapian snake. So if you have previously practiced targeting your snake out of hiding and you've not practiced anything else, or you just practice targeting them out of hiding a lot, even though occasionally you might target them in other contexts, the snake may have come to actually believe that starting out in the hide and coming out of the hide is part of what it must do to earn the reinforcement. So it's part of the actual behavior in your snake's mind. And that's what my Aesculapian snake did. It was a snake that hid a lot, and I trained him to target out of hiding to come and earn his reinforcement. So then I would see him out and about climbing, maybe in the vertical half of his enclosure, and just being active. And I would present the target. He'd see the target. He would come down from the vertical half of his enclosure. He would make his way all the way inside his hide. He'd turn around, and then he would look out of his hide, and then he would come out and engage with the target. And it became really clear to me when he did that every time that he thought part of the exercise, part of the behavior that he had to do to earn the reinforcement was to be in his hide and come out of his hide. So what do you do if that's the case? Well, you need to try to change your timing and reinforce the snake before it makes it back to its hide. And you might have to pair the reinforcer with the target initially, instead of just showing the target if you're at that point. Is when the snake's out and about, very quickly pair the target with the reinforcer so the snake sees it, and hopefully that encourages them to go ahead and take the reinforcer while the target is out in the open and while the snake is out in the open before it makes it back to its hide. You can go ahead and target the snake out of hiding during repetition 1, and if you plan to do 2 repetitions during the training session, then you want to quickly do the second training repetition before the snake has a chance to go back to its hide. And you want to reinforce the snake before it makes it back to the hide. Again, if you have to, just pair the target with food at this point. Or you can put the target right in front of the hide opening and reinforce the snake as it moves towards it. What you're trying to do is teach the snake you do not have to be in your hide in order to target train. You don't have to start this behavior from inside your hide. You can initiate the target training in a different environment altogether, like when the snake is out free roaming or in an exercise pen, a tent, or some type of exercise space. So basically you're changing the context or the environmental arrangement, and you're trying to shift the snake out of that mindset that they have to be in their hide in order to start the training session. So changing the context, changing the environmental antecedents, changing the environmental arrangement. You want to reinforce the snake during these other circumstances to get them to understand that hiding is not needed to engage in the target training session. So in summary, what you choose to do if your snake was out and moving around, but then it's not when you return to start your target training session, really depends on why the snake is no longer out. And you can try the various strategies that we've just discussed, or you can ultimately just wait for a better time and do the session on another day or night. So if one of these strategies worked for you and the snake is engaging in the target training session, the next thing you should do is jump into the step-by-step target training playlist at an appropriate point with an appropriate course. The basic course is just the step-by-step target training for confident snakes. And so you can jump in there. It goes through all of the steps and a lot of the approximations of target training. And I just totally recommend that you watch this whole playlist though. It goes over a lot about target training, step-by-step, choosing the target, training shy snakes, training confident snakes, and what each step looks like. So thank you very much for learning with me today. I want you to go ahead and contact me or leave a comment with your questions. Remember that there are lots of other troubleshooting target training subjects that I'm going to go over in this series of lessons. This is only the 4th one, so I just may not have gotten to your particular issue yet. You can still ask me a question or comment. And in part 5, we are going to go over what to do if your snake is exhibiting escape and avoidance behavior during the target training session. And until then, always remember to be kind and love your animals.